Hi, I'm Laura Lovett, and this is my Facebook Live, and I wanted to talk about losing Jasmine and Aaliyah and what sadness that has brought all of us, and I guess what can be done about this problem of violence against women. So Jasmine is my niece on my husband's side, and I met her when she was really young, when she was a baby, and she was such a sweet little girl. And when she was growing up, she would spend a lot of time with my husband Scott and I before we had our own kids. And then she had a little sister who was 2 years younger than her, Genevieve. And yeah, we thought the world of them. And in my author newsletter, you'll see pictures of time we spent with them. So we used to take them overnight to our house a lot, and they used to be so excited to be picked up by auntie and uncle, and we used to do all kinds of fun things like take them to the amusement park, take them to the mountains, take them to Kananaskis. I remember taking them along the river, and searching for golf balls in the river was always fun near the Kananaskis golf course. And it was just such precious time with those little girls, and it's just hard to imagine that 16 years later, that little 8-year-old girl was taken from us and taken to Kananaskis, where the body of her and her beautiful 22-month-old daughter were dumped and in the forest. And it's just unbelievable. And it still feels like it hasn't even happened in a way. It just feels so surreal that something so horrific could happen in our extended family. And I just really have a lot of respect for Jasmine's mother and how strong she's been through this situation, but also how much she did to help the community by giving $25,000 to the Sheriff King Women's Shelter with the monies that were raised to support the family. They didn't need all that money, and they gave it to a good cause. And I think what is really important here is to understand that whether it's domestic violence, whether it's sex trafficking, whether it's homicide, all of these acts are just horrific acts of violence against women. And I think the books that I've written really lend themselves to a broader discussion about controlling relationships and domestic violence that oftentimes escalates. And I just think that in a way it's meant to be that I wrote these books on these topics, and that I can try to make a difference in educating people and raising awareness on this cause. And something I'm particularly passionate about, given what happened to our niece, is the idea of educating young women on what are the signs of a dangerous relationship early on. Is it that the guy says he loves you too soon? What's a normal time frame to start declaring unending love? What's a normal time frame for easing into the relationship versus pushing someone to move in with you? I just think it's a really important discussion about educating young women, and I don't have all the answers. I mean, I'm not that type of psychologist that studies relationships and that's an expert in violence against women, but I sure know a lot of people who are, that I can draw from and draw expertise from to help with this story and this prevention of violence. Because what happened to Jasmine and Aaliyah should never happen. It's just so horrific and so tragic, and our hearts go out to the families. We're supporting as much as we can, and showing as much love as we can through this very difficult time. And they're taking it day by day, and we're here to support and to remember the beautiful times that we did have with Jasmine when she was growing up, and to also stand for justice against this killer who has done something that is incomprehensible and unimaginable. And I know that the court case and the trial will probably have many twists and turns, but I think that if we can support and raise awareness and come together as a community that says we don't stand for violence against women, we don't stand for any type of violence against women, and we will do something to prevent that, then I think that we are doing the right thing in honor of Jasmine and Aaliyah. And I just wish I could go back in time and give them a hug and perhaps have done something to stop this. But what I am going to do is do as much as I can in their memory, and doing an event in November to raise awareness and talk about this topic of how do you prevent violence from occurring in the first place for young women. And I'm going to get a really fabulous panel together and do a charity event that'll be like no other. And that's what I'm excited to tell you all about. So the best way to be kept in touch is to sign up for my newsletter, because that way, if you're not on social media for a while, you'll still get my newsletter, which comes out about once a month. And I really appreciate all of your support, not only in Calgary, but all of the support that I've received from beyond Calgary, all the really kind messages. And I know a lot of people didn't draw the connection with my husband's last name and my author name, of course, married name Lovett, and this horrible tragedy. But as more of you reach out, I really appreciate it, and definitely appreciate your support as we try to go forward on this charity cause for decreasing this problem. So thank you very much for all of your support, and I really pray for Jasmine and Aaliyah and what happened to them to help prevent this from happening to others. Thank you, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.